Good morning, students. Today, I welcome you all once again to the insurance management class. In the previous class, we were discussing about the question papers. Today, I have planned to discuss about the case studies. That is the 15 marks questions from your question papers. Okay. Hope you all have your question papers with you. So you can keep it ready so that you can refer as and when the class begins. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So the first case study which we are going to, please mute your mics. The first case study which we are going to study is 2012. Case study from the question paper 2012. Now here there is a question. Mr. Amar, the owner of a ship, by fraudulently representing the ship to be seaworthy, induces Andaman Marine Corporation and underwriter to insure his ship. The question is, can Andaman Marine Corporation obtain the cancellation of the policy and why? Before answering the case study, it is always very important to understand the question first, analyze it, and then come to a conclusion. First, when you read the question, here you can see that it is a question related to the marine insurance. And let us try to understand what is the situation or the problem faced by Mr. Amar. Mr. Amar is the owner of a ship. What did he do? He has taken up a marine insurance policy from Andaman Marine Insurance Corporation, stating that the ship is seaworthy. That means the ship is able to sail. It has no problem in voyage, but that is not the truth. So here the question is, can Andaman Marine Corporation obtain the cancellation of the policy? If they are obtaining cancellation, why? So how to answer this question? It is a case of marine insurance. Secondly, Andaman Marine Corporation can obtain cancellation of marine insurance policy because Mr. Amar, in spite of knowing that the ship is not seaworthy, that means what? It is not able to sail on the ship, or if it carries on any voyage, then there are every chances that it might face some it might sink, or it might stop in between, or it might face some kind of problem. It is not seaworthy. In spite of knowing that, he has taken up a insurance policy from Marine Insurance Corporation. So here he is violating the principle of utmost good faith. What does the principle of utmost good faith say? According to this principle, both the parties must disclose all the material facts relating to the subject matter. Since Amar has hidden the true information and fraudulently induced the company to insure the ship, therefore he cannot claim any losses from the insurer. So I hope you have understood that since Mr. Amar has violated the principle of insurance, that is the principle of utmost good faith, he will not be eligible to get any claim for any losses. Similarly, Andaman Marine Corporation has got all the rights to cancel the policy. So now next we'll move on to the next question. Next question is of 2015. Here, if you see, uh, there is one person who has insured his motor vehicle with two insurers for rupees 20,000 with NIA Limited and rupees 40,000 with GIC Limited. The bike is partially damaged on account of an accident. The value of the loss is 30,000. This is the case. Then the question is, what is the liability of two companies and why? First question. Second, they want to know, explain the principle under which the above example has to be dealt. So let's see how to answer the first question. The first question is, what is the liability of two companies? Means since it is a double insurance, both the parties will have to pay the losses in a particular ratio. So what is the formula to calculate the loss which has to be paid by each party? Let us discuss that. NIA Limited, the total loss or compensation is calculated by applying a formula, that is sum insured under each policy divided by total sum insured under all policy into loss. Now the first one is NIA. He has insured the bike with NIA for rupees 20,000. The total sum insured is what? 60,000. That is 20,000 from NIA plus 40,000 from GIC. So therefore it is 60,000. Sum insured under NIA Limited is 20,000 divided by total sum insured is 60,000 into 30,000. So GIC, therefore the loss which they have to pay is rupees 10,000. Then what is the share of GIC Limited? 40,000 divided by 60,000 into 30,000. Sum insured under each policy is 40,000 divided by 60,000 into 30,000. So total the loss will come up to 20,000. So if you add NIA's loss, that is 10,000, GIC's loss, that is 20,000, it comes up to how much? 30,000. So the value of loss is been paid. The first answer is over. The second one, explain the principles under which the above example has to be dealt. So you know there are different principles applicable in the insurance policy. So for this case, which principle is applicable? First of all, the principle of contribution is applicable to this case because it is a case of double insurance. Whenever there is a double insurance, the principle of contribution comes into existence. According to the principle of contribution, the insurance company has to share the loss among them in specified ratio depending upon the actual loss. What is the ratio? How to calculate that? We have already discussed in the first part of the question. Similarly, you can also say that principle of indemnity is applicable in this case. According to the principle of indemnity, only the actual loss is paid to the insured. So the actual loss is how much here? 30,000. So therefore, only he is paid 30,000 in spite he has got a cover of rupees 60,000. So both the principles can be applicable in this case. So I hope this is clear to you. We'll move on to the next question. Next question is section D, part A. This is of 2016 question paper. Mr. Gopal takes up a fire insurance policy of rupees 1 lakh on the property of rupees 3 lakh. If there is a fire in the premise of the insured causing a loss to the extent of rupees 80,000, he will be compensated with rupees 80,000. But if there is second fire in the premise and the entire property is burnt, how much amount the insured can claim on account of second fire is the question. So the question is quite clear. Mr. Gopal has taken up a fire insurance policy of rupees how much? 1 lakh on a property of rupees 3 lakhs. So here you can see it is a case of under insurance. He has insured his property less than the value of his actual value. So if there is a fire, imagine there is a fire and the loss is 80,000. So he will be compensated 80,000. Their question is, what about if the same premise or if the same property is caught fire second time, next time in the same year? What will be the amount of claim? So what shall be the answer? When the same property experiences more than one fire, the insurance is bound to pay in all up to the sum insured stated in the policy. In this case, an insurance policy of rupees 1 lakh is taken on a property of rupees 3 lakh. If suppose there is a fire in the premise of the insured to the extent of 80,000, he will be compensated 80,000. But if there is a second fire in the same premises and the entire property is burnt, the insured can claim only the rest 20,000. That is 1 lakh minus 80,000. So policy value is how much? 1 lakh. In that there was a first fire. So actual loss of rupees 80,000 was paid to him. Remaining is how much? 20,000. So in the second fire, he can only claim the remaining rupees 20,000 from the insureds. If he wants to cover the full insurance for the future loss, then what he can do is he can reinstate the insured sum to the original amount by paying a fresh premium on the pro rata basis to date of to the date of expiry. Till the date of expiry, if he pays a new premium, then he can, what he can do is he can once again insure his property for the full amount. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. That is the question from 2017. The question is, Anand applied for life insurance policy. Anand applied for life insurance policy for 5 lakhs, disclosing all the necessary information in the proposal form. However, before acceptance of the proposal, the insurance company Anand was taken ill with pneumonia. The proposal was accepted by the insurance company following day. The company learnt about his illness after 2 days of Anand's demise due to pneumonia. Is the insurance company liable to pay? Now, this is the case of life insurance. Here, Mr. Anand has taken up a policy, and after when he takes up a policy, he has given all the information related to his life, but the company has not accepted the proposal yet, and during that time Anand was taken ill with pneumonia, and the proposal was accepted by the insurance company. The following day, the company learned that he was ill and he died due to pneumonia. Is the insurance company liable to pay? Yes, this is the case of life insurance policy. Yes, the insurance company is liable to pay the compensation because Anand applied for the life insurance policy of rupees 5 lakh, disclosing all the necessary information. That means he has followed the principle of utmost good faith, which says that all the material facts must be disclosed by both the parties at the time of entering the contract. So that principle is fulfilled here by Mr. Anand. So therefore, the company is what? It is liable to pay him the losses. So according to this principle, both the parties must disclose all the facts at the time of entering into the contract. Accordingly, Anand has also applied for insurance by disclosing all the necessary information, so the company is liable to pay. So hope you understood. Anand has disclosed all the facts, so therefore the company is liable to pay him the compensation. They cannot they cannot ignore his claim. So now next we'll discuss about the 2018 Part D questions. The first question is, Mr. Anikesh insures his house valued at rupees 2 lakh with 3 insurers A, B and C separately for 60,000, rupees 1 lakh and rupees 40,000 respectively against fire. The house was burnt partially by fire and loss estimated is rupees 54,000. The question is, explain the principle which governs this case. Second, in what proportion A, B, C insurance company need to pay Mr. Anikesh? So let's answer the first question. The first question is, explain the principle which governs this case. The principle of, now here it is a principle of, here it is a case of double insurance. So whenever there is double insurance, which principle comes into existence? The principle of contribution. So the principle of contribution is implemented when there is double insurance. Double insurance means taking multiple insurance policies covering the same property or loss. The principle of contribution applies to only those insurance contract which are contract of indemnity. According to this principle of contribution, the actual loss is contributed by all the insurers in the proposition. In the 2015 paper also, we saw a similar kind of case, right? So here, since it is a case of double insurance, each insurer has to pay in a prescribed proposition. So what will be the formula? Again, the formula will be sum insured under each policy divided by total sum insured under all policy into loss. So A's contribution here equals to A has the policy, the sum insured under A is 60,000 plus total sum insured under all policy 60,000 A, B is 40,000, C is 1 lakh into the actual loss, that is 54,000. So when you apply this formula and calculate the claim, what A has to contribute is rupees 16,200. Then the next contribution of B, how much B has contributed? Let's see. The amount insured under his policy was rupees 1 lakh. The total claim is rupees 2 lakhs into 54,000, that is the actual loss. So total sum will be how much, which is contributing. If we apply according to this formula, we get 27,000. So next one is C's contribution. Now C, under C's LIC policy, we have insured a sum of rupees 40,000 divided by total sum insured under all policy. Total sum insured under all policy is rupees 2 lakhs into actual loss, that is 54,000. So the sum which he is going to contribute is 10,800. So if you add all the A's contribution, B's contribution and C's contribution, it will sum up to rupees 54,000. That is the actual loss. So therefore we can find out that the actual loss is been distributed in a particular proportion. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. 2018 second question. Mr. Raymond insures his ship against the perils of sea for rupees 5 lakhs. The ship was burnt partially and the loss estimated is rupees 2 lakh. When Mr. Raymond asks for claim, the insurance company denies the claim. The first question is explain the reason for denial of the claim. Second is explain the principle under which the above example has to be dealt. So the first one, this is the case of marine insurance, where the marine insurance was taken on ship against the perils of the sea, but the ship was burnt. So the company denied the claim because the peril against which the insurance was taken does not match with the actual accident. See here, the principle of cause proxima is applied. According to the principle of cause proxima, the nearest cause for which the insurance policy is taken, the nearest cause for which the insurance policy is taken is the main reason for the loss, is the reason for the loss. So here the ship is insured for what? It is insured for the perils of the sea. What are the perils of the sea? Sinking, collision, jettison, thunderbolt, okay, going and colliding with another ship. These are all known as perils of the sea. If the ship would have incurred loss because of all these reasons, definitely the insurance company would have paid the compensation. But here the ship is burnt, which is not a peril of sea. And similarly, the information is not given in detail, like how the ship was burnt. Maybe if the reason is ship is burnt because of thunderbolt, then we could have understood, or the company could have the company should have been forced to pay the compensation. But here in this case we see that according to the principle of cause proxima, the insurer need not pay compensation to Mr. Raymond because the reason for loss is, in this case of marine insurance, the principle here, the principle of cause proxima is applicable. According to this principle, the insured will get the compensation only if the loss is occurred, because of the reason which is mentioned in the policy. Okay, so principle of cause proxima is dealt. You can also mention that principle of indemnity can also be included in the case. According to the principle of indemnity, only the actual loss will be paid and not anything more than that. Okay. So next question of the same year, third question. Mr. Gagan took an insurance policy on his life. While taking the policy, he did not reveal that he was suffering from cancer. He died due to cancer. His dependents, that is his wife, made a claim with the insurance company, but the insurance company rejected the claim. The question is, explain the reason for rejection of claim. B, explain the principle which governs the case. So the first question we will answer first, that is the reason. We have to tell the reason for which the claim has been rejected. So now first, this is a case of life insurance. Here Mr. Gagan took an insurance policy on his life but did not reveal all the material fact related to the subject matter, that is on his own name. He was suffering from cancer, right? And he did not disclose that he was suffering from cancer. So therefore, in spite of knowing he has not disclosed that he was suffering from cancer, he has violated the principle of utmost good faith. So that is the reason. The principle of utmost good faith is not maintained or not kept in this case. So therefore, the company has rejected his wife's claim. Then the second question is, explain the principle which governs the above question. So B, in this case, the principle of utmost good faith is applicable. According to the principle of utmost good faith, both the parties must disclose all the material facts related to the subject matter. Okay, so with this I conclude today's class. I have covered all the questions from your question papers. If there are any other questions remaining, we will discuss it maybe in tomorrow's class. If you have any doubts, you are free to ask me. So thank you.